Middle of week 10. I just had the opportunity to review all of your design plan assignments. I posted my comments and addressed the Grade Center. Your peer reviews of those design plans are also due by tomorrow night, 11:59 p.m. The reason we do a Friday due date for peer reviews is to give you time to incorporate the peer review and my review into a revision if you choose to submit one for a second review. If you do, those are due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So that gives you Saturday and Sunday to work on any revisions that you want to try. I wanted to share with you some points of feedback common to the design plans that I reviewed as you consider whether or not you want to revise your work. First of all, I just want to point out some of the materials that were made available to you in the course materials folder. These are over here in week 9. So these were all provided to you as you prepared and wrote your design plans. So the very first piece that I wanted to talk about is this idea of the 4-part objective. So A, B, C, and D. I say A is for audience, and in this particular article they use the term actor. I also posted a video for you of this in the week 9 course materials folder. Okay, so when you write an objective, I'm looking for every single objective to include all 4 parts: A, B, C, and D. Audience, the person who's doing the learning. And this is known, it's knowable because you've already written your target audience or your target population statement. The A can be the same for it should be the same for every single objective in your design plan. The actor or the audience, the single person, the single learner is the same. Every objective needs to include one behavior, a single behavior, not a compound set of behaviors, but a single behavior. This is the statement of what the learner must be able to do, what they must be able to demonstrate as a result of participating in this learning event. It's not an assignment. It's not something that they're going to learn. It's what they're going to be able to do. It's the behavior that you're looking for as a result of their participation in the course. Okay, and you can see right here, objectives shouldn't include words like know or understand because that's not observable and it's not measurable. So hold on to that thought. You have a single person, a single audience member, a single actor performing a single behavior in every objective. The conditions, the C of your A, B, C, D objectives, are all of the conditions you will meet or all of the circumstances that your course will provide to ensure that the behavior is achievable. So for example, if your behavior is scoop ice cream, in order for that to be possible, your conditions will have to include a bucket of ice cream, an ice cream scoop, a bowl potentially, right? So in order for this behavior, this B, to be achieved, a set of conditions must be met. And those are all of the things that your development team and your instructional team are going to provide to make sure that this behavior is possible. And then the D, okay, the degree, the D statement, the degree to which this behavior must be performed or observed in order to be considered successful. The D is the degree to which this behavior will be measured and determined successful. So for example, if the behavior is run a mile, we're in the presidential fitness test and we're going to run a mile, we need a degree statement to say within 12 minutes, without stopping, within one attempt, right? You have to indicate what success looks like for this behavior. Now, the behavior is often the most difficult part of writing an objective, and I will tell you, doing this for 2.5 decades, it's easy to get really, really lazy when we write behavior statements. And it can be really super tedious to spend the time to do it well. But the behavior statement is so important because it's what sets you up for your level 2 evaluation. Okay, so if you're having a tough time figuring out how to write a behavior, how to think about the verbs for that, I also provided you in your course materials folder with a link to Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is really just a way to organize and think about, I call this the echelon, right? The echelon on which learning occurs. And you have to accommodate first level first. So first people need to be able to remember, then they can understand, then they can apply, and so on up the triangle. So when you think about picking a behavior statement, think about what it is, where you are in this taxonomy, like what level of sophistication are you looking for from this behavior? And then you can go reference Bloom's. It exists in there's Bloom's taxonomy wheels, and there's entire lists and frameworks of all of the verbs and ways to think about it. You can see a few are here: classify, describe, discuss, explain, execute, implement, solve, relate, compare, contrast. These are behaviors. These are behaviors. They're verbs, okay? Use Bloom's to help you think through what the specific behavior is that you want to measure. What is the specific behavior that that audience person is going to demonstrate, and to what degree? And as you think about that, another layer to check yourself is, have I written this objective, and have I picked a behavior that is SMART? This is also provided to you in your course materials folder. SMART objectives are 5 things. You may have seen this framework or heard this acronym maybe when doing annual performance reviews. You need it to be specific. The language needs to be very, very exacting. It is 1 person, 1 behavior, 1 degree in a set of conditions. Every objective is written that way. It needs to be measurable. We can't measure learn. We can't measure understand. We can't measure know. We can't measure comprehend. We can measure demonstrate an understanding by. We can measure that, but we can't measure knowing, understanding, comprehending, learning. Is it measurable? For it to be measurable, it has to be observable. We have to be able to witness it. And to what degree? The acronym goes on to help you determine if your objective is achievable. If you're uncertain whether or not your objective is achievable, you can come back to Bloom's taxonomy and check in. Are you at the right level? Are you asking people to analyze something before they can understand it, right? Like, have you accommodated all the first order and prior order thinking before that are necessary for this objective to be achieved? It also should be relevant, and it needs to be time bound. Learning objectives must occur during the course of the learning event. They can't be predictive to the future. They can't be forecasted. These are things that you are checking for, you are observing, you are measuring to a certain degree during the actual learning event. That is your level 2 evaluation. Okay, so when we think about an ABCD objective and writing those for your design plan, these were the materials provided to you to help you do that. Every single behavior, every single objective is written as an ABCD objective, every single one. It is tedious. It feels clumsy. It will make you better than 99% of the designers in the workforce if you can master this. because by mastering this, it shows that you really understand where the learning fits into the larger performance issue. We'll do this again in 603, but it's very good to get the practice now. Okay, so when we think about this design plan and what it is that you're writing, the rationale is the justification, right? Like why is this event necessary? Why do we need it? And think about this. It doesn't translate all that well necessarily to maybe a K-12 environment or even a higher ed environment, right? Where learning is more enrichment. But in a workplace environment where learning is for performance and there's an investment of time, money, and resources to develop training, really try on and participate with this practice of writing the rationale. How do I write a really good defense for this learning program? Why is it justified? What can we expect of it? Your target population, you did a great job with this. You're pulling exactly from your population analysis or your learner analysis. Course description, you all did great with this. Again, it's a hypothetical course, so you could take this in any possible direction. Very much appreciate that you all approached this creatively and had different ideas. Course descriptions can include everything from modality to environment. Is this online? Is it virtual? Is it hybrid? It can include length, how long it's going to be, types of instructors. Someone in the course included even things like the types of panels of people we should include in the evaluation committee. So lots of good thinking here. So thank you for that. We talked about objectives. Your evaluation strategies were very good. Couple points of common feedback in an evaluation strategy, and I had no expectation that these be perfect, right? This is your first time ever doing this, and we will do it again in 603 with more rigor. But for here, just the understanding that level one happens during or immediately at the end of an event, and you're just gauging for reaction. Did folks like this course? Did they like it? Did they not like it? Level 2, the reason it's so important to write great learning objectives with strong degree statements is level 2 is actually the measure of achieving the objectives. Did the audience achieve the behavior in the objectives to the prescribed degree? It's what we intended for them to learn. Did they demonstrate that they did it? That's important because level 3 is the degree to which that learning was applied or transferred to the performance environment. Did what they learn, what we confirm they learn in level 2, transfer to performance? Were they able to apply it outside of the classroom? It's important to note that level 3 cannot happen during the learning event. It's after. It's after, as is level 4. Level 4 happens after. It can't happen during the learning event. Level 3 is whether or not they applied what they learned, and level 4 is whether or not the application of what they learned achieved the desired results. Facilitator prerequisites are criteria that facilitators should meet or are recommended to meet. So this is where you're looking at things like language spoken, years of experience, degrees that they have earned, positions that they've held, right? So the criteria of the facilitators that may or may not be qualified to teach this course, as same with the participants. Deliverables is all of the things that you expect the team developing this course to produce for a successful learning event. Okay, so your design plan is written by the designer, by the folks who did the analysis potentially, to prepare the team who's going to develop the course. Students don't really see this. This last piece here, soundness of approach, that's for me. That's my evaluation of your work. It's much more subjective than the rest. It's not something that you should be accommodating inside of your design plan. This, as part of your rubric, is just so you know that there's this additional 5 points that I am using to evaluate subjectively the quality of the work and the level of effort behind it. Okay, so that is how we're wrapping up this week on design. All of your portfolios have my comments posted on them. I've addressed the Grade Center for all of you. Your peer reviews will come in within the next 36 hours or so, and you have all weekend to revise that work. If you have questions, be sure to let me know, and I look forward to seeing you all online. Thanks for being here.